The metrics that you track when it comes to split testing really depend on what you're changing on the website or the app. So if you are making changes that affect very much the conversion funnel, the checkout process for example, then the metrics you want to understand success should be around that area. So it should be how people are interacting with the forms, how many people are dropping out of the checkout process, how many people are going on to convert. Those are the metrics that are really important. But it's not always possible to measure those later stages, those macro metrics. You might be making changes to some of the early stage awareness content on a website, and in that sense you should be tracking those metrics that suggest there is a positive change there in terms of experience. So it could simply be spending more time on the page, digesting the content. It could be increased levels of video plays. It could be clicking on certain links that you've added to the content that take people off somewhere else. The important thing to note is that metrics shouldn't be used in isolation or shouldn't be assessed in isolation. So things like looking at average time on page in isolation can give a very misleading performance metric because you might see a decrease or let's say an increase in average time on page and assume that's a good thing, but actually you might have just made the page more confusing for users. So the reverse of that might be you've decreased average time on page. You might think that's a bad thing, but actually now you've made a page very easy to navigate, to find the information that you need and then move on. So combining metrics like exit rates, any sort of conversion metrics along with some of the softer, earlier engagement metrics is a good way to understand the success of a test.